No matter who you are as a sales professional, there are several things that you just need to master. On this episode, we're going to break down 5 principles that I feel that can help you to really thrive and to succeed in your role. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, it's a really unique episode because 10 years ago, I started a podcast. And that podcast is this podcast has led to the development of the Sales Evangelist and TSE Studios. And the amazing thing about that is that I was a nobody. And I just did something that I really enjoyed. Now, the thing that helped me, I feel, the most was because of my experience as a sales professional. And on today's episode, this is a unique episode because this week I'm at Podcast Movement and I'm speaking to a bunch of podcasters and teaching them, one, how they can be able to sell their podcasts, how principles they can learn from sales professionals, as well as I'm telling the story about how a $39 mic, which was it says $30 in the marketing material, but $30 mic led to this empire that we're building. And all of that ties back on sales principle. There are 5 crucial things that I feel that many sales professionals, any sales professional, need to master if they're going to really thrive and succeed. P.S. If this is your first time listening to our show, subscribe. Also, tell someone else about the podcast. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Donald C. Kelly. And if you're from Podcast Movement listening to this episode, go ahead and drop me a note on LinkedIn as well, Donald C. Kelly, or follow us at the Sales Evangelist TSE Studios. You can find us on Instagram, on TikTok, on TikTok, as well as you can follow me on Instagram, Donald C. Kelly. So you can find us both places. So let's go ahead and dive in. There are 5 things. 1, become a problem solver. 2, become an effective communicator. 3, adaptability and creativity. 4, design a clear plan. And 5, have a positive attitude and take action. So let's go in and dive into the first one. When it comes to becoming a problem solver as a sales professional, like that is your title. That is your role when you think about it. You are finding people that have problems and hoping that your solution can solve that problem, because if you can't articulate that, you probably won't get the appointment. And that's the critical component for you as a sales professional is, again, finding the people, breaking through all the noise and all the clutter and helping them to understand that you can solve a problem for them. Oftentimes, they're not aware of the problem that they have. And this is where it requires you to be able to articulate your value proposition in such a way that they see it. So let me give you an example. If I sell, for instance, HR solution, let's go CRM. I sell a CRM software. Let's call it HubSpot. So I sell a CRM, but right now I have a software that I use and it's archaic. It's been here for a while and it's simple enough. I need to figure out what is the problem that ideal customer is facing. You can use ChatGPT and see what are some of the top problems for CFOs or CEOs, or if you're reaching out to CEOs of small companies, or for VPs of sales or sales managers when it comes to their CRM. Identify what those are. You can use tools like Apollo.io or utilize tools like LinkedIn Sales Navigator to see people that are using competitor software. And then if you understand what the problem with those competitor software, you can use chat for that as well. But if you understand those problems, then you can have a better chance to targeting people that may have issues that you could solve the problem of. So let's say my client, the CRM that we're using, doesn't allow for great management tools. Well, as a sales rep, I can reach out to those people and say, hey, I know you're using ABC software. One of the big issues I know people come across is sales leaders come across is that they can't get the reports that they need easily. We provided a way to make that super simple for you. If you're open to it, I'd love to share some ideas. But again, I'm making this up. I don't sell HubSpot solution, but they are a sponsor for this pod. This is a part of their podcast network. But you get the idea, though, is that now I can target a particular thing, but I need to be a problem solver. In addition to becoming a problem solver, you must be a problem finder. A lot of people can offer a solution, but not a lot of people have the skills to be able to find the problems. And this process that I just shared with you is an easy way you can go about doing so, but you must become a problem finder and also a problem solver. Number 2, Become an effective communicator. Being a debater in high school, speech and debater, helped me out a lot to be able to articulate myself and to speak and to articulate points and to go deeper and to evaluate upon principles. And it's the same concept I feel that many sales professionals need to master. Now, you don't necessarily need to go up there and debate a point or to argue, but you need to make sure you can effectively communicate the value of what you have to offer. That's asking effective questions, being able to listen to individuals, being able to write well, being able to utilize video or social content to be able to express yourself well. One way you can practice this is to go back and listen to tape. Listen to past not episodes. You listen to some of the past calls you've had with your prospects and break those calls down. See where you could have asked more questions. Where could you have slowed down? Where could you have emphasized a little bit more? Where could you have used a little bit more story in telling your point or use an analogy to explain further? So those are some of the things you could take advantage of. But becoming a better communicator is absolutely important if you want to really thrive. I would recommend you check out a program called Toastmasters. I did that for years, and it's a great way to improve your communication skills. Number 3, adaptability and creativity. You must be able to adapt. You must be able to adapt. And for the people in the back, you must be able to adapt. If you're not adapting as a sales professional, you're not going to thrive, especially in this environment we are. If you're just stuck on sending emails, you're going to realize your emails are going to fall down and become water. You need to have more creativity in your email, and you also need to make sure you're bringing more ideas and concept to the table that's going to help you to stand out. One thing that I recommend that you can do when it comes to this is to just practice and brainstorm with your friends, with your colleagues, people in your organization. Try to find creative ways to be able to send your message. Use Chat GPT to craft creative subject lines and so forth. Ask Chat what are some creative ways you can reach out to prospect. One good guy, dude, you can check out is Dale Dupree. He is big, and Stu Heineke. They're very big on the ideas of being able to use unique ways to stand out to your prospect. But you got to be able to think outside the box. My philosophy is that in order to be successful, do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. If you can do that, money in the bank all day long. All right. Number 4 is design a plan, a clear plan. You got to have a clear plan if you're going into this thing as a sales professional. You can't just get up and try to wing it. I talk about this in my book, Sell It Like a Mango. Link in the show notes. But in that, I share how you need to make sure you're planning on a day-to-day basis. Do you know who you're reaching out to? What are the focus accounts? What are the problems that you're going to be able to highlight? Make sure you have time to go update the CRM, times to be able to do your social outreach. You must have a plan and how you're going to go after these accounts. If you really want to thrive as a sales professional, you must behave and start thinking like an entrepreneur. You must have a clear plan if you're going to really, really thrive. And then number 5 is a positive attitude and take action. Too often we find individuals, no matter what walks of life or what industry, they say they're going to do stuff and then they get a rejection, or if things don't go their way and they fall out and they feel like they can't succeed. You got to have a positive attitude no matter what. If you believe your product and your services are that amazing that people need it, you need to go shout that from the rooftop. People need to know that this is the best thing that's going to solve their problem. Time back to number 1. And you need to have a positive attitude about that. Don't let a no be a detriment to your future yeses. Realize that you learn from the no's and you get up and you dust yourself off and go for the yeses, because there are people out there who need what you have to offer. And take action, man. Too often we find people, and I share this all the time, people who just, they talk and talk and talk and don't take action. I would much rather individuals that take action and learn from that action than someone who sits down and talk and plot. Yes, it's important to plan, but it's even that much more important to act. Even if it's not perfect, you start taking action, because that's how you're going to learn to iterate. That's how you're going to learn to improve. And that's how you're going to learn to be better. Doing those things over the past 10 years has been able to help our show to be able to improve. I've been able to become a better communicator, becoming a problem finder, identifying problems that you're having, creating content relative to that, being creative in the way we go about delivering that stuff. Also making sure that I have a plan with my episode and my guests and a process that works. And finally, taking action. I could have sat back and said, you know what, I'll do this podcast later, but I'm glad I did it 10 years ago, and we're glad we're here right now. But I'd love to hear from you how these principles help you, and what else do you feel are absolutely critical principles for sales professionals to master? What are some of those characteristics or skills or things that salespeople just really need to be able to do well in order to thrive? Go ahead and connect with me on LinkedIn, Donald C. Kelly, or on Instagram, Donald C. Kelly. You can also find us at TSE Studios on LinkedIn or TikTok or on Instagram. And tell me about that. I'd love to hear those principles. As always, this podcast is designed to help you to 1, 3 to 5x your sales pipeline, 2, double your close rate. If I can help you to do that, I'm happy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Podcast Movement. Go out, do big things. See you in the next one.